All right, what is good, ladies and gentlemen? It is the Master Reviewer back again with another review, and today we are doing a review for Ace Ventura Jr. Pet Detective. This is the third and final, at the moment, the final installment in the Ace Ventura franchise, and so I did manage to rewatch it today. This is a rewatch, and yeah, in general, like, I'm kind of going at a pace of one movie per week on the weekends, because the weekends is like the only real time that I have to watch movies. So hopefully in the future I'm going to start picking up the pace again. I am still doing pretty well when it comes to like the rewatches and stuff for shows, and like just shows in general. Like I have a lot more time to watch shows because it just works better with my workflow. So some show reviews are going to be coming in the future, along with some anime reviews, and so yeah. Anyway, so let us just begin, starting off with the plot slash mystery. And this one, I was kind of confused going into this. Because I think I misinterpreted the film the first time I watched it. I thought the first time it was Ace Ventura Jr. Pet Detective, so I thought the film was actually about the original Ace Ventura that we saw like Jim Carrey play in the first two movies. But then I realized on rewatch that this is actually about his son, and the film is titled Ace Ventura Jr. Pet Detective. But I thought it was just called like Junior Pet Detective, like because it was about him. I thought this was like a prequel movie, and that we would follow the main Ace Ventura. And so I did have like some comments. I was a bit like, I was gonna say like how this is like they chose like a really weird actor to play Ace Ventura because it looks like nothing like Jim Carrey, but then I realized, okay, it's meant to be his son, so I guess it's like I'm kind of like more forgiving on that now. It's also kind of weird because you do have Melissa Robinson, who was the female love interest in the first movie. She does return actually for this movie, like not the actress. You don't have Courtney Cox back as the actress. However, the character herself is like in this as Ace Ventura Jr.'s mother, but yeah, she is recast, so I didn't really notice that. So anyway, so yeah, I do think that the plot slash mystery, it's not as good. I'm gonna just kind of talk about the I don't know, I'm gonna kind of talk about some aspects here and there, not just specifically the plot, but I do think that this film in general is kind of more catered towards kids, whereas in the first two movies did feel a lot more like they were they felt more like adult films, like it had much more inappropriate jokes and stuff. And I'm not saying that like you need to have like inappropriate jokes for it to be good, but it did feel like the humor of this film was catered a lot more towards kids, more so than I would have preferred if it more so than it like compared to the previous two films. So because that it was not as enjoyable as the first two films. I do think that the plot itself of just that a bunch of famous animals are going missing and stuff, and Ace Jr., I guess, has to investigate and find out what happened, and his mother ends up getting framed for stealing a panda from a zoo, so he also has like some personal stakes involved in finding out what happened to all the missing animals. And it's not as interesting. I kind of like the plots in the first film was like kind of interesting because I was actually invested in the mystery and I wanted to find out who was the one that ended up stealing the dolphin. Even on rewatch, I was like still kind of interested in it. The second film, it's like the mystery was just it was like kind of obvious who the villain was, and I didn't think that the villain was like that great, but I did think that the mystery itself was like still fine, of like, okay, he has to get the white bat back in order to prevent like these two tribes from going to war. So it was like kind of interesting. This one, it's like, I guess they have the stakes there, the stakes are fine, but I don't think that it is just as interesting, where it's like he's just trying to find out he's trying to find out who stole a panda. It just feels a lot more less unique, I guess, and just, I don't know, it didn't really work for me. So overall, the plot slash mystery, I'm going to have to give it a, I think I'm going to get the score sheet out here. Yeah, I do have the score sheet here, and I think I'm going to give the plot slash mystery, I'm just going to call it not good. I'm going to give it like a 4.5. It just didn't really work for me compared to the last two films, and so yeah, none of the mystery aspects I really, like, it is a rewatch, so yes, it does kind of ruin some of the mystery. Like, I did know who was going to be the one that, I did know who was the one that stole the animals, and spoilers, I guess, for anyone that might want to watch this film. I don't recommend it, but the one that ended up stealing all the animals was Mr. Pennington Sr. It was his motives were also absolutely terrible. Like, at least in the last film, like, you had Cadby, I think his name was, where he wanted the two tribes to go to war in order for like them to like kill each other, and then he could profit off of like their land and stuff because they had like special minerals and stuff. It's like, okay, it's kind of a one-dimensional villain and not like the deepest motive or anything, but it's like, okay, fine, it's just a standard guy trying to get rich motive. This one is like, oh, he just wanted to start a pet collection, and whenever a Pennington wants something, they get it, and so it, I don't know, it was an even worse motive in my opinion. So yeah, so anyway, the characters, Ace Ventura Jr., yeah, I don't know, you don't have like Jim Carrey's charm from the first two films. It like definitely, the actor that plays Ace Jr., Josh Flitter, I don't think the actor, like, I don't know, it just, he doesn't have the same charm, but I don't like, I'm not expecting him to have the same charm as Jim Carrey, but just the fact that he does bring down the character of Ace Jr. Like, Ace Jr. is not as fun or like charismatic of a character as Ace Sr., I guess you call him at this point. So other than him, like, he was still probably the best character of the film, because like every other character, I don't know, his mother, like, just, she's arrested for most of the film, and she's just like basically an average mom that just wants the best for her child. And yeah, Laura, A+, they're like the people that end up helping Ace throughout the film. Like, Laura's meant to be Ace's love interest, not that great, to be honest. Very just standard surface level. Like, there's nothing deep about these characters at all. There's Dr. Sickinger, who his whole thing is like he wants all animals to be treated fairly, like equally, like not just like the cute ones get better treatment than the ugly ones and stuff. Yeah, Pennington Jr. and Sr. don't really care for them. They just are rich people that want animals. And then you have Russell Hollander, who is the detective guy that is kind of, he's the one that is helping out with the like, he's doing the investigation. He's kind of like at ends with Ace, like they have like a rivalry going on kind of thing. And then you do have actually Grandpa Ventura, who is, I guess, the original Ace Ventura's father. He is in this, and so he was kind of cool to see. He did bring some fan service to the film, which I did enjoy. Some of the, like, I don't think the fan service bits were great. It was mostly just like them saying quotes of the original Ace Ventura, like "Alrighty then" and "Like a glove" and stuff like that. Like, they just kind of reused some of the quotes from the first two films. So he's not necessarily the most well written character, but you know, it is nice to, like, he brings some of that Jim Carrey charm that's like not really in the film too much. So like, it doesn't get to the level of Jim Carrey from the first two films, but it is nice that he brings some of that aspect into the film. So yeah, but overall, the characters, I don't really care for most of them. I'm going to just give them probably a I'm gonna go like a 3.5. I'm gonna be harsh with this. The characters just are not that interesting. Like, Ace Jr. is probably the best one, but even so, it's like he does not compare at all to the original Ace Ventura. Grandpa Ventura is probably the second best, and once again, he does not, just like, without Jim Carrey was like, I think in both the first film and the second film, the best thing I rated about each film was the character of Ace Ventura, and like Jim Carrey's performance in the character like was just extremely iconic, extremely memorable, extremely entertaining, extremely charming, and just the fact that you don't have that anymore, it is a big disadvantage to this film. So yeah, anyway, the settings, I didn't care for any of the settings. I thought that in the first film, it's like the settings weren't great or anything, but in the second film, like, he did actually get some interesting, nice settings with like the jungle areas, as well as, I guess, like the mansion place, I guess. But in this film, there's nothing to it. You have like another rich person area, but it's not as interesting as the last film. And you do have like Universal Studios, I guess. They go to like there's a zoo at one point. There's another area where Ace ends up stealing, or he doesn't steal, but he causes like a fossil structure thing to collapse, and then he starts running through the place. I don't remember what it was. It was like some sort of museum area. So anyway, none of the settings I really cared for too much. It all felt like very not too creative. So I'm gonna just give the settings. There's like the school as well. There's like that locker area that A+ like has, where it's like he has some secret room that no one knows about. So, but none of it really works for me. So I'm gonna give the settings. I'm gonna go like another 3.5. Honestly, it's just, none of it really. You know, fine. I'll be generous. I'll just give it a 4. I'll just say it was bad, but it definitely was, yeah, bad. I'd say so. In terms of the comedy, none of the jokes really landed for me. There was nothing that I found funny in the film. Most of the lines as well, like, didn't really work for me. I did not really like any of the comedy, so I'm going to say a lot of it uses, like, once again, it's trying to appeal like more so to kids. So there's like a lot more toilet humor, it feels like, in this film. Like, and the last two films had much better comedy thing. A lot of it thanks to Jim Carrey just being such a entertaining comedic actor, but just, I don't know, the plot itself also, I guess, felt more comedic. So I'm gonna say that the comedy in this film, it was yeah, I'm gonna go with, like, I'm not gonna say really bad, but I will say I'm gonna say pretty bad. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. So 3.5 for the comedy. The worst thing, I don't really have a worst thing in mind. I guess I'll just reuse the worst score, which was the comedy and the characters, which I gave 3.5s to those, so I will just reuse a 3.5 once again. And the best thing, I think the best thing about the film is, yeah, I don't really know. There's not much to really enjoy about this film. There were a few bits where it's like it does kind of channel some of the Ace Ventura character with, like, through Grandpa Ventura, as well as like the bits of fan service they do. I think probably my favorite scene was like when Ace actually gets his like Hawaiian shirt and he like puts it on and he finally gets the look of the original Ace Ventura, and he's like walking into school and it's like he has that like I don't know, it feels for like a slight moment like, okay, it feels a bit like the original Ace Ventura, and I don't think that like they should have. I don't think it's like necessarily the greatest thing to try to copy. Like this is a sequel, so it's like I don't think it's like the best idea to copy the original like format of the Ace Ventura films. Even though the original two films didn't really have a format, but I do think that like they should have incorporated more of like the the Ace Ventura style, I guess, into the film. So because this just does not really even feel like an Ace Ventura film. It kind of just feels like it has. It feels like a movie that they had about like some kid that's like a detective, and then they just said like, okay, well, let's just add a bit of Ace Ventura like flair to it, and then we'll just make the tie-in animals to the plot, or maybe they had originally like the plot center around him. I don't know what they did. I'm not saying that this is what they did. This is what I like. It just kind of feels like it. It feels like they just incorporated Ace Ventura when it's like you could very easily take out a lot of the aspects of Ace Ventura from this film, and it would not feel too different. It feels like so. Yeah. So the best thing I will say is like there is brief moments of fan service, which I will say are. I'll be generous. I'll call it like I'm not even gonna be generous. I'm just gonna call it a 5. Like it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad, so I'm just gonna give it a. I should be saying it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. So yeah, I'll give it a 5 for like the bits of fan service that I guess were not terrible. So yeah, any extra notes that I have? Let's see here. No, I think I mentioned everything up to this point already. So I'm going to do the calculations. So King Crimson. All right, so it ends up coming out to exactly a 4 out of 10, which would be bad, and I think I would probably give it. Yeah, I would give it probably. I think a 4 out of 10 sounds good. I think it's between. Maybe I should be a bit more generous with it, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to say that I'm just going to give it a 4 out of 10. I'm going to say that it was bad. Maybe with the as I let it marinate a bit longer, then maybe the score could like go up or down. But I do think for the moment I'm just going to call it bad. I think that it was definitely not a good Ace Ventura film. I do think they are actually. I'm not sure if this is confirmed, but I think that there might be another Ace Ventura film in the works. So hopefully that they managed to bring back Jim Carrey for that, and yeah, they. Yeah, I don't really have anything else left to say. So, yeah, 4 out of 10, bad. I didn't really work for me. Didn't really like that much. So yeah. But yeah, anyway, so that is my review of Ace Ventura Jr. Pet Detective. If you have any recommendations, any shows, movies, video game stories, anime, web series, anything that you want me to review, leave it in the comments and I will maybe possibly check it out. But with that said, that is pretty much all there is to it. So let's leave it at that.